Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was in New York last week, representing Jamaica's interests at the United Nations 80th General Assembly, UNGA 80. As he delivered the island's national statement Friday, Dr. Holness called for decisive global action on climate financing, multinational security support in Haiti, and inclusive policies that allow Cuba's full participation in the global economy.
At this 80th session, let us revitalize multilateralism and recommit to building a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable world. The challenges before us, climate change, debt, poverty, conflicts, and crime, are formidable. But our capacity for collective action is greater.
The Prime Minister also urged the international community to step up its funding for and the fight against climate change.
The promise of $100 billion annually remains unfulfilled. The Loss and Damage Fund, established at COP28, was historic, yet its initial capitalization of $800 million is grossly inadequate. Developed countries must honor their commitments and scale up climate finance, recognizing that adaptation is a necessity for the survival of small island developing states.
Dr. Holness told the Assembly that the global financing system was fundamentally inequitable as it penalized reforming economies like Jamaica with high borrowing costs while ignoring their vulnerabilities. As such, the Prime Minister reiterated his support for the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index as an alternative to income-based eligibility criteria for concessional financing.
Jamaica also strongly supports innovative financing mechanisms, including debt for climate swaps, debt for nature swaps, and blended finance instruments that can unlock private sector investments in sustainable development projects while reducing debt burdens. We welcome initiatives such as the IMF's Resilience and Sustainability Trust and call for its expansion to support more countries in building climate resilience.
As he addressed the General Assembly Friday, the Prime Minister also called for a peaceful resolution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. While condemning the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, Dr. Holness expressed horror at the devastating humanitarian consequences of the counteroffensive in the Palestinian territories.
A just and peaceful resolution to the conflict is only possible through diplomacy and dialogue. We continue to support United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 and support the call for a ceasefire agreement that includes the release of all remaining hostages and definitively ending the protracted war and human suffering.
And the Prime Minister tackled the issue of transnational crime in his speech, calling for a global war on gangs. The war on gangs, he says, would be akin to the global war on terror that would cut off the flow of weapons, money, and influence that sustain these networks.
Jamaica welcomes cooperation with all partners in this fight, including the interdiction of drug trafficking vessels, provided that such operations are carried out with full respect for international law, human rights, and with the coordination and collaboration of the countries of the region.
Earlier in the week, the Prime Minister addressed the Climate Summit 2025, noting that Jamaica has strengthened its leadership in climate action. Targets outlined in the updated climate plan include more renewable energy, cleaner water systems, electric vehicles, lower emissions in key industries, and protecting our forests, mangroves, and seagrass.
I am proud to announce that Jamaica submitted its further updated NDC 3.0, which is both comprehensive and realistic and further aligns our ambitions with action. Jamaica's targets are anchored in existing policies and supported by political will.
Prime Minister Holness said Jamaica aims to achieve emission reduction between 26% and 41.7% by 2035, when compared to 2012 levels. This, however, is dependent on the scale of international support the country receives.
Jamaica is producing an implementation plan for NDC 3.0 that will provide a clear roadmap with sector-specific targets, stakeholder responsibilities, and costing to guide investment and partnership. This is not just a pledge. It is a practical, economy-wide strategy for a low-emission, climate-resilient future.
Wednesday also saw the Prime Minister addressing the UN high-level panel on sustainable ocean economy. He used the meeting to reiterate Jamaica's call for partnership to reduce harmful fishing subsidies, stem illegal fishing, and curtail marine pollution, especially from plastics.
I welcome the Ocean Panel's leadership role in building momentum for the completion of key ocean-related multilateral processes, including increased ratifications of the agreement under the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea and the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction, or what we call the BBNJ agreement.
Dr. Holness says Jamaica has submitted its instrument of ratification and welcomes the milestone ratification of over 60 countries to the BBNJ agreement. He says this paves the way for the entry into force of the agreement next year. Still in New York, Prime Minister Holness held bilateral talks with Canada's new Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Mark Carney. The discussions were grounded in reinforcing the strong bonds between the two countries in areas such as security, regional concerns, and education and training. Prime Minister Holness says Jamaica looks forward to continuing its partnership with Canada to advance shared goals for sustainable development, prosperity, and regional stability. The Prime Minister also held bilateral talks with Kenyan President His Excellency William Ruto. Dr. Holness thanked Mr. Ruto for supporting peace efforts in Haiti and encouraged greater partnership and people-to-people engagement. While in New York, Prime Minister Holness shared his administration's top priorities for the next 30 days since being returned as head of state for a third consecutive term. He said among them is to fully establish the government by appointing persons who will drive the administration's policy and direction.
It will take some time because the government is not just the election of the Prime Minister and parliamentarians, but it's the establishment of the ministries and the assignment of the permanent secretaries, the establishment of the public boards and so forth. So we will take maybe another few days to get that established. It doesn't interrupt really the flow of government, but in terms of getting the direction and policy in place, you have to get the people in place.
Dr. Holness was speaking during an interview with Irie Jam Radio in New York. Dr. Holness closed out his visit to New York at a reception hosted by the Consul General. He met with members of the diaspora who he assured that his administration will continue its seamless operation, to which demonstrates a stable government.
Those of you who observed it, you would realize that the administration that we lead is one that operates seamlessly. Whether it is a pandemic, whether it is a hurricane, or whatever major issues that may occur, we believe that there must be no break or disruption in government.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.